Hey again, everybody. Chef Thom here. Got a great evening prepared for you tonight. We are going to be doing surf and turf bruschetta. Just a moment, we're going to have the Double D Duncan Dad joining us tonight. Going to do some cooking, some eating, a little bit of drinking, and we're going to be talking a little bit of smack about what's going on in the world today, you know, kitchen table issues. So hang on just a second. I think we got Duncan knocking right now. And anybody else wants to knock, go right ahead, and we will let you in after a while. Let's just get things going. There we go. All right. So Duncan Dad's going to be joining us just a moment. Let me tell you what we got going here. So we're going to do a bruschetta, surf and turf bruschetta. It's kind of like your traditional bruschetta. When I make it, I don't put in the balsamic vinegar. Typically I'll do that as I'm eating it. I'll mix it up with the balsamic vinegar. But for the surf and turf, what we're doing, we got a flank steak going. And as a matter of fact, I've already got it cooked. It's resting right now. We'll be slicing it up in just a little bit. This right here, take a look at this. Can you all see this? Here, let's zoom in on this. Where's my zoomer thing? Ah, there it is. You guys, this is insane. I bought a lobster. Okay, cooked it up, 3/4 pound lobster. And this.
Hello.
Hey, there you go. Everybody say hi to Double D. All right, Double D. I don't see myself except on my screen. So what do we do? What am I doing wrong here?
No, you're looking good.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't see me next, you know, on the picture next to you, but it doesn't matter because I got my bottom screen. So take a look at this, everybody.
What's that? Is that better? You like that?
Yeah. Take a look at this. You see this? This right here. That is a whole lobster that I cooked and shelled. That's it. I mean, we got 2 claws, the pieces, and I cut the tail in half because I was going to have a little cocktail sauce with that, but I don't think so because we're going to need that for the bruschetta. So we're doing a bruschetta with lobster, and we're doing a bruschetta with some flank steak. And the flank steak one is really good. It's called Bruschetta bissteca. So let's get going here. I've already diced the tomatoes. Now, when you're doing the tomatoes, you want to try and find firm tomatoes. Let's zoom out here. I want you guys to see everything here. We got a new camera here, so a little too far. How's that looking there? All right.
Looks really good.
So when we cut the tomatoes, you dice them up. You want to try and find firm tomatoes, firm romas. And you want to core out the insides before you cut them up so you don't have a real mushy bruschetta. We got our basil. We're going to put in some basil. Let's get some basil in here. And if you've ever watched me cook, I never measure anything out. So you kind of just bring it along. We get a little bit of olive oil in there. And we're going to go with some fresh garlic. Let me get my garlic press. Now, when you're doing the fresh garlic, again, most of the way that I do everything, pretty much to taste, okay? So we're going to, I like it really garlicky. So I'm going to put in, close. Bless you.
Bless you. Salute.
Tony Robin.
So now, have you gotten to the point, Chef, where you bring out the more, the sweet side of the basil as opposed to the bitterness? Is that
yes.
In your palate? Yeah.
Yeah. Now you need another thing too with the. Oh my God, I hate this. I should grab the other garlic press. Here we go. There we go. Now a lot of bruschetta people will slice the garlic. Mm-hmm. I don't like slicing the garlic because then the garlic is way too potent. So I like to use my garlic press, and we got a nice little minced garlic in there. Pretty much that's it. So we got the olive oil, we got the garlic, we got the basil. Let's give this a quick mix.
Now, is that going to be fresh basil off the stem, or are we using?
Yeah, I used fresh basil off the stem. I got some growing out here on my patio.
Okay.
And
perfectly conducive to growing fresh basil.
Say again?
I said fresh basil here in garlic. You can grow it yourself. A couple dollars.
Oh yeah.
Your store. It's phenomenal.
I think Tony's got some basil growing on his patio right now, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get a little bit more basil. I like sweet basil. I like loading it up here. And when I say use firm, ripe tomatoes, all right, don't get any ideas. Those firm ripe tomatoes, because if you got to put this in the fridge for a few hours, if they're not firm, you're going to get all soft, mushy. Let's see what else we're going to get in here. This is it right now for the bruschetta. Next, we're gonna make our sauce for the bissteca. Now, with the sauce, this is my favorite. Need something to mix it up here. So we got some sour cream. Now this here is a ½ cup. So we are measuring out a little bit here. And again, this is all to taste. Now, a lot of people, when they buy horseradish, I always I figure the whiter the horseradish, the better. The darker, a lot of preservatives. This here, this is the best horseradish you're going to find. It's called Atomic. If you live out in California, you'll find it at Smart and Final. It's not going to be on the shelves. It's going to be over in the vegetable section. You can order this online on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. They send it. It's got little freezer packs in it, but this stuff is the best. And this is extra hot. So we're going to get a little bit of that in there. But I also put a little bit of mayo in here. And again, this is to taste, okay? I go with a quarter cup of sour cream. We're going to put in a third a cup of some mayo. And this is the kicker. Along with that horseradish, get some blue cheese going in there.
Oh.
Yeah, the blue cheese. Now, I can't see the chat. Anybody's chatting here. You're going to have to, fill me in here.
No, Luker's loving it. He's live Smell-O-Vision 2023 Chef.
Yeah, there you go. Now, I put in a lot of horseradish. I'm a horseradish freak. I'm going to give this a stir. And I like the blue cheese nice and chunky. So this goes.
I'm a blue cheese fan above the ranch. People always asking, you want wings, you want something to dip in. I need a little substance, Yeah,
the chunkier the blue cheese, the better, right?
Better, absolutely.
Chunkier the better. Not hot enough.
Bene.
Check that out. We got some more horseradish. Let's zoom out a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm the only one controlling the camera here. Sorry, guys. All right, so we're going to get this nice and spicy, or nice and hot from the horseradish.
Now, how is that going to hold up in the refrigerator? Say I do have guests coming over. Is it going to be all right?
Yeah, this is going to hold up. It'll hold up a couple days. Okay. This there is basically like an appetizer. Right? Tonight's Final Four, right? We're on the way to Final Four. Was it Sweet 16 still? I don't know where we're at.
We're in the we're the first round. It's rolling. It's rolling.
I'm going to have to order some more horseradish. I'm getting low. All right, so this will stay. It'll stay a couple days in the fridge. Keep it covered. Typically when I make it for a party, D, I'm going to make it, like in the morning. Put it in the fridge, let it firm up a little bit, and use sour cream. Let's do one more. That's perfect right there. So here we go. That's our now. Again, you let it firm up so that this way, when you put it on the bread, you put it on the bread first, almost like a spread. Make sense? There we go. I think we lost D. All right. So what's next? Let's get the lobster. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate this. I'm going to put some of this in this bowl and keep that one separate. Now, with the lobster, you can cut it up. I like tearing it up, okay? And let's get D back on here. There we go. Don't get that. Sorry, everybody. Again, I'm the only one controlling here. All right. So we're gonna tear the lobster up. And when I cook the lobster, I like the lobster firm. Okay, so you can boil it, broil it, barbecue it, whatever you want. This here, I boil. So we're gonna break this up a little bit. Hey, you're back.
We're back. Sorry about that.
Back. So we're gonna tear this up a little bit. Now, I didn't get my salt and pepper here. I'm going to put the salt and pepper in last. Now, what I did was, and then oh, that's looking good, man. Holy crap. Get a little more. All right, I think I'm going to do that, some cocktail sauce later. So we're going to give this a little bit of a stir. Now, when you're preparing this, like let's say you're having a party, you know, prepare it like an hour before, put it in the fridge, let it sit for a while. This is already done. This here is for a bissteca. Let's cut the bread up here, and then we're ready to rock and roll. Get this toasted, and while that's toasting up, then we're going to get our...
You know, I think what you need to do real quick is just explain to everyone who's watching now and watching later on the YouTube channel that what you did was when you went and put everything together, you didn't over stir. People have the tendency to really feel they need to incorporate stuff and meld things together.
Right.
That they break down the structure then of the tomato, of the cheese. It's going to melt together by itself. You don't need to break it down. People get.
And that's the reason why I like using the firm tomatoes.
That's right.
You know, I like using the firm tomatoes, and then you cut out the inside with the seeds and you know, the body, or I guess the guts, which is actually the lateral of the tomato. I like cutting that out because otherwise you get a really mushy bruschetta. So let's get this in the toaster oven. Here, and then we'll slice up our steak. Anything going on in the game tonight? What's happening?
Well, right now Duke is running a train on Oral Roberts. I mean,
no way.
A lot of people were picking Oral Roberts to show up in this matchup, but not so fast, my friends. Duke is holding court, running a 40-23 at the half.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Iowa and Auburn a little closer.
That's
in Colgate right now. They're not the same.
Now, I wasn't paying attention earlier. Obviously, I was working. But what happened in the Arizona game?
So our boy, Penguin AZ, right out there in good old Arizona. I guess he must be a Forkham fan for Arizona State. He took Princeton to upset Arizona, and truth be told,
no way.
It happened. It happened. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Now, was Arizona favored?
Well, they were one of the favorites, and it's actually kind of poetic justice because, you know, we don't like to get completely political on these programs, but our commander-in-chief, he did pick Arizona to win the entire tournament, and they couldn't even get out of the first round. Now, this is
I'm leaving that one.
His entire administration. It's completely mirroring it, so.
I'll leave that one alone because his record during the football season, he was right on. Was he like 90%?
Hey, listen. No, I'm talking about our actual commander-in-chief. Our actual commander-in-chief, President Joseph.
Oh, okay. You mean LBJ? I mean,
yeah, he said.
I mean, LGB.
The Pennsylvania. He took Arizona. Salute.
There
you go.
He took Arizona.
Yeah, he took Arizona. They're gone. Sort of like his administration, everything they've done. Don't trust them. Don't trust the picks. They're done.
Okay, so for the meat, now when you do the meat, whatever cut you want to use. I like to use flank steak. Some people will like to use flap steak. Okay, you can use. I've even used filet mignon. Years ago, when I would go to Costco and get the tenderloins, and I would trim them myself. There's a part of the tenderloin that's actually the tenderest part. That's what gets cut out. I'd use that for chili, or I'd use it for my bissteca. Now this here, I've been letting it rest for a while. You can serve it up hot, however you want to do it. Now, I like it medium. Okay, but you can slice it nice and thin, and you can grill it, you can fry it, you can broil, whatever you want to do. What I did is I salt, pepper, garlic, salt, tenderized it, cooked it in the skillet, a couple minutes on each side. And let's see what kind of a cook we got on this. So let me cut this in half here because I don't want to go against the grain. Or we do want to. Yeah, that's medium, just like I like it.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Beautiful. We're gonna cut really well too. They're cut really well too.
Yeah. So we're gonna slice this really thin here. The outside's a little cooked. I kind of did this on the fly. You saw what I was going through when I got home here.
Now, for everyone watching, do you have any professional chef tips? Because I think a lot of times, again, like we did with the over mixing, people tend to cook their steak more than they need to. There's a carryover part that cooks when it's done and it's resting. I think people get scared of it. We're always told, oh.
And that's the problem that happened here. But I want to clear something up. One, I'm not a professional chef. Okay, I worked for I've been in the cookware business for almost 30 years. I own part of a cookware manufacturing plant for all of about a second. But cooking's always been a passion of mine. And you're absolutely right. The biggest mistake people make is when they're cooking meat, and I made that mistake tonight, is if you like it, let's say medium rare, okay? Take it off rare. You let it rest, because as it's resting, it's still cooking. Yeah. You know? But this actually is not that bad.
So you need to trust your meat when it's hot. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to make sure you beat your meat really good first before you cook it.
You know, I never really, you know, pardon all the innuendos and the puns, but I never really got into the tenderizing side and the beating the meat. But there is something to that, right? It opens up proteins, it opens up the little striations in the meat, it allows things to sort of cook thoroughly.
When you know, a lot of times when I see people do this to tenderize, that irritates me. You don't want to poke them.
I've forked a lot of meat before. Yeah,
don't fork your meat. Right. I mean, you beat it with the backside of a butter knife, backside of a knife. If you don't have a tenderizer, a mallet. I mean, I got one somewhere in here, and this thing is huge. I mean, we probably beat somebody with it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this is left over from the Middle Ages.
There you go.
This is a great analogy. All right, so we got our crostinis going, and we're ready to rock and roll here. Let's get a plate. It's just a shame, brother, that you ain't here to join me. Again, this really is a great appetizer. Wonderful appetizer. If you're having a party, the only problem is, like a story a while back. I was at a party, I'm not going to name names. It was a graduation party for a family member, and the family member's boyfriend was there, and I cooked up 2 flank steaks like this, sliced it all up. This gabon went over there, plate and fork, and just scooped up like enough meat to serve like 8 people. And I looked at the dude, I was like, come on. So, you know, hopefully you have some friends that have some class. When you serve this up, you need 1 or 2 pieces on your bruschetta. That's it. Okay? You want to come back for more, come back for more. So here's what we're going to do. You spread it out. You're going to start with your horseradish blue cheese sauce. We're going to get that on there. Okay? I'm using my fingers, so you know what? I'm the one that's eating it, so go scratch if you have a problem with it. Everybody always like, what are you doing? And then we'll put.
My friend Jen Carroll would get you automatically kicked off Top Chef All Stars.
Really?
Yes, I'm not going to let you. We're not going to do that. No fingers. No fingers. Yeah. You have to use utensils.
You know. I got to share this video.
Yep.
Yeah, you know they always say never piss off a waitress.
Yes.
And I mean, this is kind of a quasi-family show, quasi-not. This is no filter, but it's a camera from a diner, right? Mm-hmm. And she makes a hot dog. You can only imagine what she does with the hot dog, right?
I don't want to know.
Yeah. Puts it on a bun,
right?
And then walks it out to the dining room and to the diner and serves it.
Oh, man. No. See,
I mean, I've worked in restaurants. I've seen people pick up steaks off of floors and throw them back on grills.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. So here we go. Here is our steak bissteca, or steak bruschetta, otherwise known as bruschetta bissteca or bissteca bruschetta. This is delicious. We're going to try it in a second. We got the cut on the meat. Actually, it was actually the cook on the meat was actually pretty good. Okay. Let me pan down here a little bit so you can see it. Yeah, it's not going to let me because I got to take the tracking off. Get used to this camera. Sorry, Robin.
You.
There we go. Yeah. So actually, I did cook it pretty. Just the ends were a little bit well done. So what this is our bruschetta bissteca, and it is delicious. I'm going to start macking on that in just a little bit. For the lobster, now we do something a little bit different with the lobster. On the lobster, God, every time I say lobster, I'm thinking about was it B-52s?
B-52s. Rock
Yeah.
lobster.
All right, so with the we're gonna go with the. Well, I need a big counter, don't I?
Yeah, that's right.
So we're gonna get same thing with the lobster bruschetta. Okay, you're gonna have the bones that are gonna go over there, and what are they gonna do?
They're gonna take the whole thing out.
Yeah, they're gonna scoop as much lobster out as possible. So this is something, you know, somebody wants some, you give it to them. Hopefully they're not a gabon, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you're from Jersey, you know what a gabon is.
That's right. Originally from Philly, Jersey, back to Philly. Now, on your crostinis there, do you put anything on the bottom, or you just leave them?
No, not with this one. Okay. Now, what I do with this one, what did I do with it?
20 to the left.
There it is. It's on the floor.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is where I go with the balsamic.
Okay.
I'll do a little balsamic glaze on this, but not a lot.
Drizzle.
Little drizzle. There we go.
All right.
I don't like putting balsamic in my my bruschetta because it just makes it too watery. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Does that look beautiful, huh?
Looks very beautiful, man.
I need a cameraman here. I can't be everything. There we go. All right, we're going to enjoy that in just a minute. I'm going to make a couple more up for myself. What else we got going on here today in the world? You want to talk about?
We're
you got any knockers here? I see a couple. Or is that you that's
knockers? What kind of knockers?
Knockers? No knockers in queue. All right, it's all good. But anyway, dead cats. I just finally heard that. You're the best. So what do you think? What do you think? What's going on in the world with the with that the thing that didn't get shot down, got hit down?
Yeah. I think for whatever reason, and I pray that this isn't true, but listen, wars make money.
Yeah.
And I think we're trying to get ourselves into a little bit of a skirmish before we get into the next election cycle to kind of distract ourselves from what is really going on in the world. We've spent a couple $1 billion, hundreds of billions of dollars, financing Ukraine. I think it's personally, there's other things going on with that money, but that's not for me to decide. It's just there's a lot of things going on, which makes what you're doing all that much better. Enjoy the college basketball game. Let me give you a little bit of appetizers for people coming over. You got the surf, you got the turf. You're covering both ends of the spectrum. People can enjoy it. Use a little class. Don't overload your bruschetta. Enjoy it. Get the taste in your mouth. Little amuse-bouche. What are you pairing it with tonight? You went with a Pinot tonight?
I got a Merlot and I got a Cabernet.
Okay.
But I'm going with the Cab.
You went with the Cab? All right.
I'm going with the Cab. You know, I mean, red with the meat, white with the lobster. But I can't do white. I get agita from it. You know what agita is? Yeah. You know, I'm going to get too much agita from the whites. You know, and so I stick to the reds.
I love red.
Cabs, Pinot Noir, Merlots, especially the Pinots. Pinots are my favorite.
Pinots are nice.
I can drink that all night.
I got a story about a Super Tuscan. Another day, a half hour, lots of conversation. It ended with a boa wrapped around my neck.
No,
and that's all I know. That's all I know.
When I was in college, I went to college, Cal State Chico.
Okay.
Cal State Chico. It was the rated number one party school in Playboy for years. And you want to talk about a party school? This place was a party school. And it's funny because that's when I got my best grade point average. Like 3.8 grade point average. So anyway, my roommates, they had pythons. You had 3 of them.
Nice.
One was 9 foot, another one was like 11 feet, and another one was 12 feet. I mean, their bodies were like this thick. And then they had in the back room, they had rattlesnakes that they would milk for the venom. Sell it for anti-venom. So when they would feed the snakes, like once a month, they'd go and they'd get rabbits.
Yeah.
Okay. And they'd have to separate them out of the pen, right? Hey, you know, I mean, come on, I was like 20 years old. living out in California, got my own place. What type of bed did I have? I mean, this was early 80s, had a water bed.
There you go.
And I had a heated water bed.
Oh.
Yeah, so when John went to feed the snakes and he took the damn snakes, now I wish my buddy Gebetta was on the line here because he would remember. He might be. All of a sudden I wake up and what's coiled up at my feet? This freaking python. I was going to hack that thing up. I was pissed. Yeah. And then Mary, who was John's girlfriend, she was working at the Burger King across the street. And John, this is another time he was feeding this, he's taking one of the snakes out of the pen and he had just fed the other two. But he had the smell of the rabbit on his hand. Oh, no. And this was the smaller one, the 9-foot one. And all of a sudden, this thing just started wrapping around his arm and it started to, like open up its mouth to go over his hand. And he's freaking out. He's like, help me. I'm like, I ain't touching that freaking thing. He goes, go across the street and get Mary. And I was like, I'm calling the fire department. I called the fire department. They come out. They wanted to cut this thing off of his arm.
Wow.
This snake. Mary ended up coming over and getting it out. But I mean, it was horrible experience. I hated living in that place. I couldn't wait to get the hell out.
But it gave you an appreciation for the circle of life, right?
Oh, yeah, you think?
Absolutely.
You know what it's like waking up in the morning, like all banged up from the night before, and you got a snake sleeping with you? Like your waterbed's going like this, and you're wondering, like, what? Yeah, wasn't that true? Okay, now another thing you can do with the bruschetta, I don't put this on the steak one. Sometimes I will put it on the lobster one. And if you notice, I made 3 of the lobster ones and only 1 of the steak because I'm just like, want to knock down on the lobster tonight. You can put some shaved Parmesan. Yeah, so we had a little bit of shaved Parmesan here. So when it comes to snacking, this is an easy snack. It's easy to cook up. You'll spend a few bucks on it, but it's well worth it. I mean, I enjoy it. I make this at my brother. I think I did it at my brother's house. He might even be on tonight or listening in. I can't remember if I did it this one or last year. I did last year Christmas time. I did crab stuffed shrimp, which was, oh my God, that was out of this world. And I believe I did this, but I just can't remember.
So now,
I can't remember like what I did yesterday. Go ahead, say.
So now your steak, 1 flank steak, 2 flank steaks. How much did it yield? And then also on the lobster, how much did you yield? Okay, in the lobster, you're maybe going to get out of a whole lobster 3/4 pound. Mm-hmm. You're going to get 1, 2, 3. I'm guessing maybe 6 or 7. 6 or 7. All right. Yeah, 6 or 7. Under a dozen if you really, you sparse it out, kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, you could probably sparse it out, break up the lobster. Now, I mean, if you want to save a little bit of money, you can get some crab. Do the same. It works well with crab as well. With the meat, this was a 2-pound piece that I bought. I cut it into 3 pieces. Okay. So this was probably a little bit more than 2/3 of a pound. Okay. This piece here, and I mean, this would be enough probably for a dozen, maybe more. Yeah, I mean, people are preparing it. They're having people over. It's appetizer season. Easter's coming up. March Madness, Final Four is coming around. Oh, yeah, this is a great appetizer. Great munchy food. Wonderful munchie food. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of different things. And I'm going to start sharing some more good munchy foods with you guys as time goes on. We'll start getting to some more things. I mean, the things that I can do with avocados. And we have Cinco de Mayo coming up. You're reading my mind. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo. I mean, I'm the guacamole I make is nothing like you've ever had. Oh, all right. Yeah, I make it pretty killer. So, speaking of Cinco de Mayo, what do you think about what's going on with our border? Oh, listen. Did you see any of that today? No. Or yesterday? No. What's the new word? What's happening? Are we gonna shut down? I mean, it's something that's a lot of people aren't really listening and watching, but the head of Border Patrol went before Congress, and he's saying our border is not secure. I mean, it's insane the amount of people. But here's what really gets my goat. In New York,
they're offering free college.
Wow.
Yeah. Illegal immigrants.
Mm.
But I just don't get it.
You know, the thing that always bothers me and concerns me the most about anything is that I'm a very charitable person. I think you're a very charitable person. But
Right.
at some point, the surplus runs out.
Right.
I mean, like you're not having enough to give out to help.
We can't even take care of our own citizens.
Right.
And again, we're taking care of everybody else. But I think it's really, I hate to say it, but it's buying votes. Because eventually these people are gonna, get naturalized.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is the one that's gonna get the votes, I mean, I hate to sound ignorant about it, but it is the truth.
Yeah, it really is a shame because there's a lot of attention that's getting placed on other areas around the world, and we're not focusing on home. And I know, being a very generous individual and generous country, at some point, I always go back to the house test, right? At some point, you can give and you can give and you can give and you can give, and then you have to see how it's really affecting your house, your bottom line, your quality of life. And that's a big thing.
You can give as much as you want, as long as you can afford it.
Correct.
Okay. And also too is, I'm all for, my God, what is the group in Europe? Oh my God, what are they calling that? NATO. Okay. Yeah. I had a little brain fart here. All right. So we're here in the United States. We're a whole ocean away. Okay, they're there. We're basically putting the lion's share of all the money into this. Okay, we're protecting everybody else's borders, but we're not protecting our own, and that's just something that I don't get. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. Regardless of what political party you are, I mean, you got to protect your own borders first before you start protecting other countries' borders. But I think what's going on is what you alluded to before. Countries looking for a war. We're in a proxy war right now. As far as I can see, we don't need a war.
No.
That's one thing we don't need. So what's that here? Go faster. What's the go faster?
The steak one that you made. He loved the steak. He said, "Don't overcook your meat." Like the steak one that you made. He's enjoying the steak one that you put together.
Oh yeah, that's my brother.
We love it.
Yeah, that's my brother. He just texted me. He's probably like, "Why the hell aren't you?" I said, "Jeff, I can't see that. All right, my monitor is a little too far. Even if I go like that, I still can't look at it. So
it's
you're gonna have
large senior print.
Yeah, let's see what he said. He's probably gonna grab me and give me some shit. Yeah, I had to get off. Okay, he's like, I had to get off and started talking politics because his wife doesn't like us talking politics because that's all we do when I'm over there. All right, so we can change it. Let's talk about baseball. So how was the spring training? I'm not going to go into detail on it because we don't want to ruin the show, but did you guys have a lot of fun?
It was good. We went out today. We saw the Twins Stadium, Hammond Field out here in Florida. Had a little guest with us today. Very Midwestern feel, which was nice. Tons and
corn in the backfield.
What's that now?
Corn in the outfield?
No. This isn't Iowa. This was Minnesota. And actually, when you walked up to it, it had the appearance of like these two large steeples, sort of like you walked into Churchill Downs.
Oh, no way.
I was trying to debate, were we going to a baseball game? We going to the track? What's going to happen here? But very family friendly, very Midwestern feel. Lots of places to drink. Pop-up stands for their foods. We tried a couple sandwiches from out of the area that they claim to be, authentic. New York, Philadelphia, that sort of thing. We're going to review.
Yeah, cheese curds.
Excuse me. No cheese. No cheese curd. No Wisconsin stuff. I guess we have to go to the Cactus League, find Milwaukee, in order to get the cheese curd. But nothing. The only thing they had that was authentic to Minnesota, they had a Killebrew. I guess.
What?
A Killebrew, like Harmon Killebrew.
Okay.
Jewish hammer,
Yeah. What about walleye?
Yeah, walleye. Yeah, no, and that was about it.
Yeah, you're kidding me.
That's it. That's all we had.
I would have they'd like Minnesota Twins to be like, you know, that their spring training facility be kind of like going to the Minnesota Fair with all the food they got. You ever been to Minnesota Fair?
Haven't been to the Minnesota Fair. I've been to Springfield in Illinois. Been to
Okay.
Iowa.
Des Moines Wild. That's right before. I think it's right before or just after the Minnesota State Fair. When did you go? Was it September or August?
End of the month. End of August, right? Right before Labor Day?
Right before the Minnesota State Fair. That's the primer for the Minnesota State Fair.
Yeah. Yep.
Minnesota.
They have brats, though. They have brats. So
Brats are, when I go to the Minnesota State Fair, cooking demos, the Minnesota State Fair, 12 days, 9 in the morning till 9 at night. Yeah. Full hour demo.
Goodness gracious.
As soon as we're done, we turn and burn, do another one.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably usually by like the 4th or 5th day, I've lost my voice.
Oh, yeah.
By like the 6th day, I could barely walk. My back is destroyed. But we forge on through. But I will tell you, the food at the Minnesota State Fair, bratwurst, unbelievable bratwurst.
Right.
This small little trailer, probably smaller than my kitchen, bratwurst that are unbelievable. $6, fantastic. They have these dogs. What are they called? I can't remember the corn dogs. They're like this long. Unbelievable corn dogs. Of course, they got the cheese curds. Cheese curds everywhere, no matter where you go. Cheese curds. But the Minnesota State Fairgrounds, basically, it's a city inside of a city.
Wow. They
have their own fire department, their own police department. Well, now the police department, state police came in after 2020. State police took it over for security.
Right.
And now there's like cameras, metal detect, everything. It's all over the place. But it's crazy because and I don't know if it was a sign of the times of what was going on, but when the state police came in, there was actually more problems than when it was just the Minnesota State Fair police running it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But it was just crazy. And the amount of people. There's this one place called Martha's Cookie. You like chocolate chip cookies?
Yes, I've heard of these.
Yeah. Who doesn't like chocolate chip cookies? Martha's Cookie Jar. You walk in the morning and they're like getting all ready. All they sell is chocolate chip cookies, milk, coffee, and hot chocolate. And the line of people, we're talking probably 30, 40 feet, but all the way around the building deep. And I was talking to the manager one day, and he was telling me that they go through something like 11,000 sheet trays a day just at that location. 11,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of freaking chocolate chip cookies.
You know, it's really something too, and it kind of just hit me as I was sitting here listening to you. Food, music, state fair. It really is like the essence of who we are here in America, right? And it's beautiful to celebrate all the different demos and all the different areas of what they bring to the table. I mean, in Minnesota, you've got Bob Dylan's a native out there from Duluth. I knew a girl from Duluth. Prince, right? I mean, it's really, really wonderful. And I guess, you know, where I come from, there's a lot of individuals that they stay put. You know, get out there, try some foods. Challenge your palate, challenge your aura, challenge your persona, immerse yourself in something that's not familiar. And it's amazing how many of these little states, these places that you don't really think of putting them on the map, they bring so much to the table.
State fairs, you know, I never thought of seeing top name performers at state fairs. And there's a place in California called Paso Robles. Matter of fact, I think that's where this is from.
Look at this.
Paso Robles. Yep. Paso Robles, California. Okay. Paso Robles is mid-state. It's like dead center of the state. It's off of the 101. And they have a fair. It's called the Mid-State Fair. And for years, it was #1 for entertainment. I mean, we're talking like George Benson on the main stage. They'd have Kiss was there. I mean, I could just go on and on and on. Robert Plant from Zeppelin years ago. And they also have a free stage, right? And this one year on the free stage blew me away because the building that I was in, well, it wasn't really a building, it was like a covered area. So I had perfect view. The opener was Charlie Daniels.
Woo.
And the next band was ZZ Top. And this was like free. This was like not at the main stage area, and it was insane. And then in Del Mar in California, Del Mar they call it now the San Diego County Fair, when it was the Del Mar Fair, where they have the Del Mar racetrack.
Right.
Okay? And I'm sure Quill knows all about that. But anyway, the acts that they had there, Tony Bennett, Journey. I mean, the list goes on. I'll never forget Tony Bennett. That was probably the most amazing concert. Tony Bennett was phenomenal.
So already confirmed for this year at the Paso Robles Fair. You
looked it up.
I looked it up. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, right? They're all free.
Who they got?
Tim McGraw is going to be there. Parker McCollum, and even in line with Styx, and the other artists have not even been introduced yet.
Styx is going to be there?
Styx will be there. Yeah.
Yeah, Kansas was there one year. Mm-hmm. I mean, the list goes on. So they only have 3 acts right now.
Amazing. Yeah, only 3 acts. Everything else is still coming in.
Do the Minnesota State Fair. Grandstand.
This is in California.
That's Paso Robles. Yeah, that's Paso Robles. It's same days, 12-day fair.
12 days, yeah.
Say again?
Yeah, 12 days, July 19th through the 30th, 2023. Yeah.
And it is hotter than hell.
The biggest little fair anywhere. Opened up in 1950.
Yeah, it's insane. People come from all over. There's another fair out there. It was kind of a sleeper fair. I kind of like this fair. It's called the Tri-County Fair in Bishop, California. And Bishop, California is famous for this bakery, Eric Schatz's Bakery, where they have sheep herder bread. Ooh. And we're talking food and sandwiches and stuff like that. They roast turkeys every night, and they sell these turkey sandwiches with the dressing and the cranberry sauce. Oh my. And the line of people to get this food is amazing. And the bakery's pretty wild too. I mean, the food is just phenomenal. It's so enjoyable. But the Tri-County Fair, the entertainment's kind of okay. Sometimes they'll get lucky and land a big act. What I like about it, they have a derby. When they crash the cars and stuff.
Demolition Derby?
Yeah, Demolition Derby. That's it. It's insane. It is insane. And people come out of the woodwork. Now, with the first year that I did that fair, a buddy of mine's like, "Oh, you should go check this fair out." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I said, "Let me see what the population of the town is." 2,000 people. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think I want to do it." He goes, "Tom, you really should do it." I get up there. People came from all over. From Nevada, and it's in such a beautiful area. It's just before you go up the mountain into Mammoth. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's just before you start heading up the mountain. And I mean, I've taken my kids fishing there. Like during the summertime, you hang out, you take a half an hour ride. There's a glacier. Ooh. Oh yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we're talking Bigfoot country. Yeah.
Look for the Yeti and the Squatch, baby.
I'll tell you, if you Google Sasquatch in Bishop, there's a thing about up at the lake, one of the lakes up there. There's been sightings. It's just an awesome area. But that definitely is such a great fair. It's a little fair. I used to have such a good time. I like the hours. They were 4 to 11 every day. Yeah, I paid for a hotel room than I did for my spot at the fair.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that music, family, food, community brings everybody together. And that's what you're making stuff. That's what you're doing when you're hosting. You want to bring everyone all together on the same page, have a good time, let your cares go a little bit away. And what you prepared tonight Simple, easy, straight to the point. You don't have to be a rocket science, to do this. Everyone's going to enjoy it. Wonderful, wonderful little presentation tonight, Chef.
I will tell you, lobster, I think I might have overcooked it a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah, probably, or I should have probably just cut it up into smaller pieces, but the steak, perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. You're not coming out this way, are you?
Maybe. Who knows? I'm everywhere, man. I'm
Got
everywhere.
a couple big pieces left in the fridge.
All right. We'll be there.
So we'll have to do it. Hey, listen, we're starting to get a little bit past our time here. I want to thank everybody for checking in with us. When we go politics, it's not that we're trying to sway this, but this is stuff that I think that everybody should start thinking about. We don't want to get too much into it, but you know what? We should all just have a lot of fun. With cooking, eating, drinking. We get a little political, that's fine. Chime in, man. Talk to us. I don't care which way your gate swings on this. Let's talk. This is kind of like The View with the fat bald guy. So I want to thank you all for checking us out. BleacherBrothersNetwork.com, and don't forget to tune into some of our other shows. I want to thank you. I'm going to take one last bite, one last sip, and we will be signing off.